shadows lurking, whispers in the hall, stories of the past, spirits rise and fall. Feel the cold around you as the fear creeps in. Welcome to the spectral place, where the haunted live, here among the ghostly space.
Welcome to another edition of the Paranormal News Hour show. I'm your host, Tom Spitalere. I'm back. So, it's been a great long month since we were last on, and we've had some great events at Hilldale Cemetery, one of the most haunted sites in New England. We've caught in a full-body apparition in there recently, to pendulums going, to spirits wanting to come out, talk, and channeling again. So it was a very interesting couple weekends there of late. We also were at the one of the more haunted meeting houses in New Hampshire, the Sandown Meeting House. Sandown Meeting House was formed in 1770s. And when it was built as a town meeting house, religious place, court. Everything took place there. So people spent more time in meeting houses sometimes than their own homes, because the way you lived in colonial times, farming and all this other stuff. So that was another reason why there's so much energy in these places. The Sandown Meeting House. In fact, years and years ago, when I first started investigating that place, we tried to make contact with the spirit and get an EVP, electric voice phenomena. Didn't work out too well. So I started preaching the Catherine doctrine in a Protestant building. That's what it was really back then, was the Protestant church. And earlier the Pilgrim Church. I got pushed right up against the glass window. 50, 60-foot drop if I went through it. We are opening that to the public again in October. So keep an eye out on our Facebook page, and when we get there, you'll know all about it. We're going to go over some of the other haunted locations in the region and in Massachusetts. Here, where we are right now, live. Well, we're live at the James R. Ross Memorial Studios, home of Lawrence Community Access TV. Even here, he's got a little girl in the basement that roams this area. Downtown Lawrence, plenty of activity all over Lawrence. The old mill buildings have activity in them. I hear stories. If you guys are listening locally and want to investigate it, you can reach out. We don't charge for investigations. We'll help you out. But anywhere in this Merrimack River Valley, from the mouth of the river to the mountains, there's plenty of activity going on in these regions. Some of the other haunted locations in and around the area, there was a house in Methuen that they recently tore down, built a development on, Martin's Tree Farm. That is well haunted. There was poltergeist activity in the 60s there. It was actually so bad, and this was all written in the local papers too for years, and around Halloween. Water spouts kept going all over the place. And why I bring that up is the barn's gone, the house is gone, but Mr. Martin's in-laws on Andover Street, I will not tell you the address, but that house is still standing. And when they left Methuen to move into the in-laws for a while, there was more poltergeist activity there. With water spouts. Water everywhere is one of the titles if you want to look it up and read about it. So that's an interesting location locally. The Sweetheart Inn in Methuen, never been investigated, but every time I walk in there, my hair on my arms go up. You know there's activity. I felt and sensed things, and other people I've had with me through the years have felt and sensed plenty of things in there. So it's another one of those great locations. The old 1859 house in downtown Methuen, which was a gentleman's club built by Mr. Searles, a bowling alley, etc. that place is haunted. My friend actually investigated. My friend's team actually. I've never been in there. Oh, I went once with my old team. I'm sorry, I did go once, and I can't remember what happened. But my friends' teams were in there. 2 of my friends' teams were in there a lot. Another great location here in the Merrimack Valley, so you don't have to go far to go find those haunted locations. Some of the other ones, the Lizzie Borden house, we actually investigated that, me and many other teams. And that was very interesting. We had bird sounds. We had light come out of the ceiling behind me. I actually channeled Mr. Borden at that house, sitting on the couch where his body was found. Well, it's not the same couch, but same style couch in the same area. So that's some of them there. Let's see. Let me just check one. And then around here, we have America's Stonehenge that's well purported haunted with paranormal activity. And that's a great place to go check out. All right, pull up this file real quick here. All right, if you had tuned in earlier, and we had some issues here with heat going on out of nowhere and everything else, it was really weird. But we got the Ocean Bond Mary House in Hennica. That was So in 1720, the notorious pirate Captain Don Pedro captured the ship Wolf on the shore of Massachusetts when he spied a red-headed baby that had been born just that day on board. He promised to spare everybody's lives if the child was named after his mother. So the baby's name was named Ocean-born Mary Wallace. Ocean-born's obviously. Mary grew up married, had children. Though she was widowed at a young age, eventually Captain Pedro tracked Mary down and the two ended up marrying, and they lived together in a mansion overlooking the town of Hennica for a number of years. And then one day she came home and found his body. He had been murdered on the grounds of the house. Mary suspected he was killed by pirates treasure. But Hennick is pretty far in, so those pirates went a long way to get him. They must not have liked him. And then Mary died in 1814, 2 years after the War of 1812. And since then, the ghost of a tall, red-headed woman with glowing green eyes appears on the upstairs window of the main staircase. Many occupants of the house have reported feeling Mary's presence throughout the years. Mary's 2-story wooden frame house is still a private residence today. And she's buried in the center cemetery behind the Hennica Town Hall. We also have 3 Chimneys Inn in Durham. The oldest part was built in 1649 by Valentine Hill, who also built a sawmill and a grist mill in the area, and his daughter Hannah, who said to still haunt the inn. Records show that they had been married by the age of 20, and there's no further mention of her life or death. It is believed she drowned in the nearby Oyster River. Could have happened. Oyster River, especially in the wintertime. The Notchland and Nancy Burton Hart's location. Tombstones displayed in the parlor of the inn. It reads 1778, Nancy Burton died in a snowstorm in pursuit of her faithless lover. Nancy was engaged, but her faithless husband ran off with her Downey before the wedding could take place. Rather than just accept her fate in his treachery, she soon set out on foot to find him, but was caught up in a terrible snowstorm. Friends found her frozen body next to a brook that now bears her name. That would be a fun one to go check out. The Tilton Inn, featured on Ghost Hunters and a few other shows through the years. The inn's resident ghost is Laura, who is said to have perished at the age of 12 during a fire sometime in the 19th century. Multiple guests have reported seeing a young girl in various rooms and hallways throughout the inn. Of course, you get the Mount Washington Hotel. Up in Conway, you have the Stock Pond Graveyard. That's where John Stock originally was, but the town never kept up the graveyard, so the family moved, and then the state moved in, and they built Stock Cemetery and built a big monument to John Stock. Blood Hill Cemetery in Hollis, Blood Cemetery, Pine Hill, nicknamed for the ghost who supposedly haunts it, Abel Blood, buried there in 1867 next to his wife Betsy. There is a hand carved into the headstone that points upwards. Some say it's the hand that suddenly changed point down. So, the original hand was pointing to God. That's the finger up. If you see it, and down is to the devil. Right next to, in the same area where my co-host resides, in the western part of the state of New Hampshire's Woodland Cemetery in Keene, it is said the Summer Night Chapel is the center of the haunting, and is there perhaps have reported the spirit of a little girl who will peer out from behind the trees and the buildings, giggle, or even follow around. Legend says if you curse in front of the chapel, a ghost will wash your mouth out with soap. At least that's the curse. Vale End Cemetery. Mary is said to haunt the cemetery with blue lights from her grave and slowly sinks back down. I have friends of mine who are afraid to go into that cemetery. I've never been. Island Path Road in Hampton, the Goody Cole story. Accused of witchcraft in 1656 and again in 1671, Eunice Goody Cole lived at the end of Island Path, eventually died of natural causes in 1680 after enduring years of hatred and persecution, according to legend. She is buried by eventual town people with a stake through her heart, and another legend says a kind of neighbor eventually properly buried her in today's Meeting House Green. Today, the area along the island path is said to be haunted. And there have been reports of moving objects, lights, and figures that appear in the fog. I've been on that road. I've driven that road. It is quite scary and spooky. Maybe not scary, but spooky. Then you got the perhaps New Hampshire's only, no, there's another equine haunting, ghost of horses, who sought an abandoned building during the storm after he broke loose in the blizzard, became trapped, and he died. There's actually a ghost horse on Route 28 and 16 in Ossipee, New Hampshire. Guy was seen. The story goes the guy was trying to run away from highway bandits, robbers, who were trying to steal from him, and he ended up falling off the horse, and the horse died. So, and then on River Road in Manchester, there's a ghost of a jogger. Jogging ghosts are pretty common in New England. They've been seen in the Bridgewater Triangle, the Ossipee Triangle, and you can see them on sides of roads. In fact, right here on Route 110 in Methuen, not too far from the driving range, across the street actually, across the street and down a little bit, right before the 495 bridge or after, depending on coming before from Haverhill into Methuen, it would be after the bridge. If you're coming from Lawrence into Haverhill, it would be before the bridge. I'm driving home one night on a rainy night, and I see this guy run right across the street and disappear. Came out of nowhere along the banks of the river. So after doing some investigation, he had a jean jacket on and jeans. In the late 70s, a guy was struck by a car there and died. So I'm wondering if that's what I saw. Other people said they've seen him through the years cross the road, but it usually has to be on a stormy night for some odd reason. But it's the stormy night that gives it away. So that's some more haunted areas that we can be looking at. Let me just pull up some more files here real quick. But no, it's been it's very exciting to come into an area that you don't know and spend a day trying to figure out what's going on and what isn't going on. So another place, if you get hungry, you want to go check this place out. Oops, that's not it. Why did it do that? The Village Inn in Drake. The boy has been seen known to hang out in the lounge area and supposedly runs away. I picked up, I felt Native American energy on that land, and there's a whole bunch of energy that actually been on that land. And I would say the Village Inn is another great place to go check out. And if you're ever driving in Billerica near the old John Ryan's pub, the 300-year-old home, I've been told by people who used to work there that that place is haunted. It's now empty. And across, down the road, if you're coming back out towards Route 3, one night somebody called me up and said they saw this creature of sorts cross the road, big creature. Late at night, it was probably around, if I remember correctly, go back, check my notes, 11:30, 12 o'clock. They're not in this computer, those notes. And it crossed the road there. There's a walking path just before the Chelmsford UPS hub, and that's where it went. I was talking to some of the UPS workers in Chelmsford one day and told them about it, and they said there's a lot of weird things that go on out in those woods that's got a town trail. So it's, another great place to check out. All right. Gallows Hill, known as the area of the Hangman's Hill during the Salem witch hysteria. Gallows Hill is now a park. It's hard to catch anything in there because kids are playing all the time. But you still get those weird, creepy feelings every time you're in there. But it is now a park. In Salem, Mass, all over the place, including one of the most silliest names for a place I ever heard of, the Bunghole. There's secret tunnels that ran underneath that for the days of the slave trade and hiding slaves. It also used to transport liquor during Prohibition. But that's heard some strange voices in the tunnels in the area around it. Let me see. There's another one over here too that I missed. Proctor's Ledge. For many years, poor record keeping has caused many to argue that the Salem witch trial hangings, the records are available and are deemed difficult to interpret. But Proctor's Ledge, there's been apparitions seen there and everything. The Housatonic Tunnel, $21 million to build this tunnel. People died in 1875, trying to dig the world's second longest tunnel right behind the French Alps tunnel. So this is a tunnel that connects the railroad. It's a 5-mile tunnel and done at $21 million just so it can connect the roads over from one side to another. Then you got the story of Miss Melanie Lanier, who traveled from South Carolina to Fort Warren. So this is a Fort Warren thing. She was on a mission to save her husband, who was being held captive being a Confederate soldier. The locals were quick to lock him up. So she went back to save her husband. Let's see, we got one angry spirit here. That one I'm not familiar with. This causes physical harm to a person. We don't want you playing with that. It acts like a poltergeist. Oh, interesting. It doesn't say where it's from either. Murphy's Restaurant and Pub in Salem. Oh, this must all be in Salem, yeah. Yeah, okay. Murphy's Restaurant and Pub in Salem is also near the old Burying Point ground, and it's got a lot of activity in there. Way too much even to discuss. Then in North Adams, Mass, we have the Houghton Mansion. In 1890, it was built by former Mayor Albert Houghton, who lived in the home for many years before tragically meeting his demise. He just So that's another great look. I know people have actually been in there. The Hawthorne Hotel, I actually stayed in that hotel. I stayed in the most haunted room, and we were doing an event there, so we had most of the hotel booked, and both haunted rooms did not let us down. I left the doors open in the closets, they shut them on me. I left clothes, they moved them. One night I slept without a camera, one night I slept with the camera on, and couldn't really catch much, but I did see a couple oddities. Oddities, that is. And I did wake up middle of the night, looked out down the hallway and saw the room that's closed to the public, because that goes up to an observatory of a private men's club that's up there. But you'd see weird people walking the hallways. You'd hear them, and then you go see there's nothing, and you pull out the thermal imager, and you got images of people. So it makes it real interesting. It really does. And how things can happen. But, yeah, the Hawthorne, yes, definitely if you can stay there one night, I would strongly suggest you staying there. The Ropes Mansion in Salem is another haunted area with apparitions, voices, and everything else under the sun. So there's some more places you can check out while in your travels. And if you like the Pine Tree State, Maine, that's where we're heading to next. Maine. All right. Another place, we're going to go up to Maine now. You like Maine? Fort William and Henry built in 1692 is an English fortification for the frontier of Massachusetts colony. So remember, we were a Mass colony back then. This was during the French Indian War, where tensions were high. I can't even. Yeah, so tensions were high. People died. The fort was well versed, and today those spirits still lying there today. Wood Island Lighthouse, Saco Bay. A regional of its fair share of supernatural activities. In fact, the television show Ghost Hunters was there, featured the lighthouse, and paranormal investigators alleged that in 1896, when Howard Hobbs, a tenant of the Wood Island out, would actually be seen, spirits would be seen on this island and around the lighthouse. It's pretty interesting. And all you guys who like southern Maine, who don't want to drive all the way up to Pemaquid or any of those towns, the museums of Old York, the old jail, the old museum, both have paranormal activity in it, and it's well documented. The old jail went to many years ago on the day of my birthday. We met some friends up there, and we did a pendulum exercise. It was quite interesting what happened at the museum land, the cemetery near it, and the old jail. There are still plenty of spirits that linger in York. Mount Hope Cemetery in Bangor, Maine. You'll find a haunted house, cemeteries, and that's where Pet Cemetery was filmed. So that place has been seen apparitions, and a few other things have been seen in that area too. So again, plenty of places to see, plenty of places to do, and plenty of places to enjoy here in New England. I had quite an experience in Maine. Years and years and years ago, a friend of mine would just get out of the hospital, had triple surgery, and he wanted to go get a lobster roll. He loved lobster rolls, still does today. So he went up to Maine to get a lobster roll, because there's no other place you go to lobster but up in Maine, or the New Hampshire seacoast. So we ended up stopping at one of the forts along the way, Fort McCleary. We overheard footsteps in the blockhouse. Now, we were on the first floor, so my buddy went up the stairs one way, I went up the stairs the other way, and we walked right into each other without even seeing. Without even, seeing this thing. It just disappeared. So so that's another great location to check out, Fort McCleary Blockhouse. In Fort Foster State Park. So up on Route 2A in Wyckoppet, Maine, I'm going to go check this place out. Known for being haunted, dangerous road, Maine country singer Dirk Curlis wrote a song even about this thing. There's a tombstone in every mile. Supposedly, many truck drivers have died on this road. So the energy must be very high in that area and very sad. And we have the Farmington Grandview Inn. And that's low indoor outdoor haunted. Oh, don't forget that. That's an attraction. We don't want that. We want real haunts. So that's another great place to check out. And if you can think of any other places, Portland is Portsmouth. Portland, Maine, has always got stuff going on there. All right, so the Kennebunk Arsenal in August, that's open. They have partial body, full body, and many different things that go on there. All right. So that's one exciting area to get into. Anytime I'm in Maine, it doesn't matter if it's on this list or not. I'll drive by a house out of nowhere. They go, wow, just stop, look around, see what's going on, because you never know what you're going to find out there. You really don't. And it doesn't matter where you go in New England. And this show was to help highlight some of the stuff going on in New England. We're going to highlight some more, too. September 14th till the end of the month. I believe it's the 28th. There were over 250 free events in Essex County. Some paranormal, some historical, some fun, a mixture of everything. But the Essex County Ghost Project will be doing a bunch of paranormal stuff for the Trails and Sales Committee. We'll be starting early on with different talks and stuff in different locations. There'll be ghost hunts. These are all free. Come on down. It's worth the drive from anywhere to see what happens on these paranormal ghost hunts. So please, check that out. Check it out as it gets closer. We cannot wait. We cannot wait till September gets here and the weather changes. And hopefully by then, I'm feeling we're feeling stronger and better. And things are getting better. Things are getting better all the time. So that's it. By the way, I just got a message from somebody. There was another Champ sighting recently again. Oh, so you want to go up to Lake Champlain? That's another fun trip to New England. That is New England up there. And check out Champy. He's always being seen somewhere, this creature. That's always a fun place to go check out. All right, some of the other haunted locations. I'm not sure if the place is haunted, but it gave off an interesting, we have to go back and do more work on this, because right now we're trying to figure out what it is and where it came from. But the Danville Beehive in Danville, New Hampshire. The meters were going ballistic. There is a lot of iron there. So we're not sure if it's haunted or not, but it's got some interesting activity and feels in that area. So please, if you're ever around there, check it out. Let's see, what else can we find here? that is haunted that we can actually talk about. Because sometimes it is hard because certain people don't want their businesses to know that there's stuff going on in them. Let's see, where else can we find haunted stuff? All along the Merrimack River, people have sworn they've seen things cruising along the river, from the dams of Lawrence to Manchester, all the way out to Newburyport. So that's another interesting place. Back in the Haverhill, into the Canosa Triangle, you have the Countess Mary Duval, who actually roams the cemetery. Her headstone is missing, right? It's actually inside being protected because people were chirping at it and taking stones away and everything else, so that's not good. But that would be another place to check out. Winnikinny Castle in Haverhill. We did a fundraiser over there, and they asked me to do the pendulum. I wasn't going to do the pendulum because there's no way of faking that. So I did the other equipment, and it was spot off. Everything I got was opposite. So it should be real interesting what goes on and how this is going to continue on with the paranormal. The ghosts are there, and they are out there. And they're all around us. They really are. Something's not right. The ghosts, yes, so they're all around us. And I want to make sure you all know that they won't hurt you, but respect them and be around them. Enjoy this presence. Enjoy being around them. Enjoy if you go to a tour, take a tour of a haunted location. Take the tour and enjoy it. You want to go back, you want more, enjoy it. Join a team. There's plenty of stuff to do this summer in this area. There is more than enough stuff to do. So we will continue to enjoy. And that's what paranormal is all about, enjoying the field. And thoroughly enjoying the field. It's been a long day. It's been a long couple weeks. It's been a long year this year. We're actually record-breaking pace right now to break as far as activities and stuff that this team has done. It's been incredible. And yeah, just continue out there looking at places to go and see. And there are plenty of them. They might even be in your own neighborhood. Some of the places I mentioned today are right in your own neighborhood. So go out, explore, and enjoy what the paranormal brings. Listen to the spirits. Listen to what they're saying to you, because it's very important that you do. And other than that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you again, and we will be back next month. Oh, don't forget, this Thursday night we have the Paranormal Zone. And we have a very special guest from Texas coming on. So make sure you tune into that. You can check out all my old shows on Lawrence Community Access TV. And then click on us, you'll find us. Check me out on HC Media the same way. You can also check out our brand new, it's been around a long time, but our YouTube page has really been worked on a lot lately. Check out the Paranormal Zone. It's a great show. I got a great co-host with that. And we'll see where this all goes. For tonight, though, I'm heading back to my crypt. And I'll see you in the paranormal. Good night, everybody.
In shadows lurking, whispers in the hall, stories of the past. the haunted live.